When the cleaning lady warned the millionaire, he went after her. The next day, a luxury car appeared at her house. The clock struck 10 p.m. Helena Santos pushed through the heavy glass door of the corporate building, her cleaning cart rattling against the polished marble floor. Her worn uniform hung loose on her thin frame. The night guard barely looked up from his phone. "Evening, Carl," she said. He grunted in response. Helena's shoes squeaked against the floor as she walked to the service elevator. Her hands, rough from years of cleaning products, pressed the button for the basement level. The fluorescent lights flickered in the employee locker room. She opened her locker, the metal door creaking. Inside hung a photo of Lucas, her son, smiling in his school uniform. Helena touched the photo with her fingertip. Her phone buzzed. "Mom, when are you coming home?" Lucas's text read. "Just started my shift, honey. Leftovers are in the fridge. Study hard." "I am. Working on my biology homework. I need to ace this test." Helena smiled. "You will." Dr. Lucas has a nice ring to it. She changed into her work uniform, the fabric worn thin at the elbows. The name tag read Helena S. in faded letters. She grabbed her cleaning supplies and headed for the security office. Mike, the head of security, sat watching the monitors. Empty coffee cups littered his desk. "I'm starting on the 40th floor tonight," Helena said. Mike waved her off without looking. "Whatever. Just don't touch anything important." The elevator ride was long and silent. Helena's cart bumped against the wall as it stopped. The 40th floor stretched out before her, all glass and chrome. Executive offices lined the walls. Their nameplates gleamed in the dim light. She started her routine. Vacuum first, then trash, then surfaces. The rhythm of work steadied her hands. Through the windows, city lights sparkled like stars. A sound made her freeze. Footsteps, heavy ones. Helena ducked behind her cart. Two men walked past the office she was cleaning. They weren't wearing uniforms or badges. "The cameras are here, here, and here," one man whispered, pointing at the ceiling. "Guard rotation at midnight. Perfect timing for next week," the other replied. They disappeared around the corner. Helena's heart pounded against her ribs. Sweat beaded on her forehead. She'd heard similar whispers 5 years ago at her old job. Back then, she'd said nothing. 3 people died in that robbery. The vacuum hummed to life again, but her hands shook. Down the hall, a light clicked on in an office. Through the glass wall, she saw Ricardo Mendes at his desk. Unlike the other executives, he always worked late. He looked up and smiled. "Evening, Helena. Don't mind me." She nodded, throat tight. The men's whispers echoed in her head. Her phone vibrated. Another text from Lucas. "Mom, I got an A on my chemistry test." Helena smiled, but her stomach churned. One wrong move, one misplaced warning, and she could lose this job. No job meant no medicine for Lucas's asthma, no college fund, no doctor dreams. The security cameras blinked their red lights. Helena watched them as she cleaned, noting their positions. The men had been right. There were blind spots in the coverage. She moved to the next office. The nameplate read Financial Department. Inside, papers covered the desk. Big numbers. Contract details. Something about a merger worth millions. The sound of voices made her jump. Helena grabbed her cleaning supplies and hurried to the bathroom. Inside a stall, she pressed her ear to the wall. "Next Friday's perfect," a man said. "Everyone will be focused on the merger signing. Security will be spread thin. What about the cleaning lady? She's nobody. Works alone. Won't be a problem." Helena's hands gripped the toilet paper dispenser. Her chest tightened. The voices moved away. She finished her shift in a daze. Every shadow made her flinch. Every sound sent her heart racing. At home, Lucas was asleep on the couch. Biology textbook open on his chest. Helena covered him with a blanket. His breathing wheezed slightly. He needed his inhaler refilled soon. She sat at their small kitchen table, staring at the wall. The clock ticked past 6 Mel hours. She'd have to go back. Face those cameras, those voices, that choice. Lucas coughed in his sleep. Helena clenched her fists. 5 years ago, her silence got people killed. The blood still stained her dreams. But speaking up could cost everything. Her phone lit up with tomorrow's schedule. Floor 40 again, where Ricardo Mendes would be working late, where those men would be watching, planning. Helena touched the worn photo in her pocket. Lucas smiled back at her, full of dreams. She had 12 hours to decide. Helena arrived earlier than usual the next night. The lobby's marble floors reflected her tired face. She hadn't slept all day. Carl wasn't at his usual post. Instead, a new guard sat there. His badge read Marcus. ID, he demanded. Helena showed her worn employee card. Marcus studied it too long. You're early, he said. Lots to clean. The elevator felt colder tonight. Helena's cart squeaked as she pushed it into the locker room. Her hands trembled as she changed into her uniform. A door slammed. Helena jumped. Just me, said Maria, the night receptionist. You look terrible. Didn't sleep? Something wrong? Helena closed her locker. No, nothing. The security office was empty when she checked in. The monitors showed empty hallways, but something caught her eye. Camera 4, covering the east stairwell, was tilted up slightly. It hadn't been like that yesterday. Her cart rattled in the silence as she reached the 40th floor. Light spilled from Ricardo's office. He sat at his desk, surrounded by papers. He looked up. Helena, come in for a moment? Her throat went dry. She stepped inside. Coffee spill, he said, pointing to his desk. Would you mind? Helena grabbed her supplies. As she cleaned, she noticed the papers. Big numbers. Merger documents. A date. Next Friday. Big deal? She asked. Ricardo rubbed his eyes. Biggest of my career. Could change everything. The phone on his desk rang. Helena turned to leave. Thank you, Ricardo said. He answered the phone. Yes, everything's set for Friday's signing. Helena's hands shook as she pushed her cart down the hall. Voices drifted from the break room. Camera positions all mapped? A man asked. Yeah, Marcus has the schedule covered. Helena's heart stopped. Marcus, the new guard. She ducked into a bathroom stall. Her phone buzzed. Mom, my chest hurts. Use the inhaler. Lucas's text glowed in the dark. Did it help? Should I come home? I'm okay now. Don't worry. But she did worry. The inhaler was almost empty. The refill would cost $200. Heavy footsteps passed the bathroom. Helena held her breath. The cleaning lady's here early, Marcus's voice said. Keep an eye on her. Can't have any problems before Friday. Helena waited until the footsteps faded. Her legs felt weak as she stepped out. Through the windows, the city lights blurred. She remembered the last robbery, the screams, the gunshots, the silence after. A car bumped against something. A briefcase lay in the hallway. Next to it, Ricardo knelt, gathering scattered papers. Let me help, Helena said. They picked up documents together. One caught her eye. Security details for Friday's signing. $20 million deal, Ricardo said. Not bad for a kid from the Bronx. Helena handed him the papers. You started poor? Poorest family on the block. He smiled. My mother cleaned offices too. The elevator dinged. Helena grabbed her card. Marcus stepped out. His eyes followed her down the hall. She cleaned the bathrooms, the offices, the break room. Every shadow made her jump. Every voice made her freeze. At midnight, she saw them. 3 men in suits studying the floor plan on a conference room table. Marcus stood guard outside. Helena pretended to vacuum. Through the glass walls, she watched their fingers trace paths, heard fragments of whispers. Service elevator, vault. Side exit. Her phone vibrated. Lucas again. Inhaler's empty, Mom. But don't worry, I'm breathing okay. Helena stared at the message, at the men plotting in the conference room, at Ricardo in his office, working late as usual, the vacuum drawn on. She remembered the last robbery, the families crying at the funeral, the dreams that still woke her screaming. $200 for Lucas's inhaler, $2,000 in their savings. Medical school just a distant dream, but $20 million in that vault. Armed men, Marcus watching, lives at stake. She pushed her cart toward Ricardo's office. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The elevator dinged again. Helena froze. More men stepped out. They nodded to Marcus, carried duffel bags. Just checking measurements, one said loudly. For the new furniture. Helena watched them vanish down the hall, heard the click of the service door. In his office, Ricardo rubbed his temples. Papers covered his desk. The merger documents, the security plans, the vault codes. He looked up as Helena approached. More coffee spills? He asked. Helena gripped her card. The words stuck in her throat. Behind her, footsteps echoed. Marcus walked past, hand on his holster. Mr. Mendes, Helena whispered. I need to tell you something. The footsteps stopped. Through the glass, Marcus watched. Helena's phone buzzed again. Lucas needed his inhaler. His future needed this job. But the last robbery played in her mind. The bodies, the blood, the silence. What is it, Helena? She looked at Ricardo, at the papers on his desk. At the $20 million deal, Marcus took a step closer. Helena opened her mouth to speak. Her phone buzzed one last time. I think, Helena's voice cracked. I think something bad is going to happen on Friday. Ricardo set down his pen. Behind her, Marcus's footsteps stopped. What do you mean? Ricardo asked. Helena's hands gripped her cleaning card. I heard things, saw things. Men in the conference room with floor plans. Talk about the vault. The signing. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Mr. Mendes, she's probably just tired. Working too many late shifts. Let her speak, Ricardo said. Helena's phone buzzed again. She ignored it. The new guard, Marcus. He's with them. They changed the camera angles. They know the security rotations, Marcus laughed. Sir, she's clearly confused. Maybe stressed about personal problems. My son's inhaler is empty, Helena said. I need this job. I wouldn't risk it if I wasn't sure. Ricardo studied her face. How long have you worked here, Helena? 3 years. And before that? Her throat tightened. Golden Plaza building, 5 years ago. Recognition flashed in Ricardo's eyes. The Golden Plaza robbery. 3 dead. All over the news. That was your building? He asked. Helena nodded. I heard them planning then too. Said nothing. 3 people died. Marcus stepped forward. Sir, this is ridiculous. We should call HR. No, Ricardo said. He stood up. Tell me everything you saw. Helena told him. The men with duffel bags. The conference room meetings. The mapped camera positions. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. Marcus's radio crackled. Everything okay up there? He keyed the radio. All clear. Just the cleaning lady being paranoid. Ricardo walked to his window. The city sparkled below. You understand what you're saying? These are serious accusations. I know what I heard, Helena said. What I saw. Her phone buzzed again. This time, she looked. Mom really can't breathe well. Should I go to the ER? Her hands trembled. Mr. Mendes, I have to go. My son, of course, Ricardo said. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Marcus followed her to the elevator. You should learn to keep quiet, he whispered. Cleaning ladies are easy to replace. The doors closed. Helena's legs gave out. She slid to the floor. At the Lucas sat on an examination bed. His breathing came in wheezes. The inhaler's completely empty, the doctor said. He needs a refill immediately, and we should run some tests. Helena looked at the prescription. $200. Plus her fees. Do the tests, she said. Morning came. Helena hadn't slept. Lucas's breathing had stabilized, but the hospital bill sat heavy in her purse. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Helena? It's Ricardo Mendes. She stepped outside Lucas's room. Mendes? I checked the security footage. Called some people. You were right about the cameras. Her hand gripped the phone. And Marcus? Gone. Didn't show up for his shift. Single quotes, relief flooded her body. Then fear. The others? Police are investigating. But Helena, Ricardo paused. You should stay home tonight. Paid leave. I can't afford to miss work. It's not a request. It's for your safety. The line went dead. Helena stared at her phone. A text message appeared. Should have kept quiet. Hope your son feels better. Her hand shook as she deleted it. Lucas was discharged that afternoon. His new inhaler worked better. Mom? He asked as they walked home. Are you okay? Helena forced a smile. Just tired. Is it work? You seem scared. She remembered Marcus's words. The text message. The men with floor plans. Everything's fine, she lied. That night she locked all their windows. Checked the door 3 times. Lucas studied at the kitchen table. His breathing was normal now. Mom? He said. I got accepted into that science program. The one that helps with medical school applications. Helena hugged him. That's amazing. It cost $500. Her heart sank. The hospital bill had drained their savings. Her phone buzzed. Another unknown number. You made a big mistake. Hope the job was worth it. Lucas looked up from his books. Mom? You shaking? The window rattled. Just wind. But Helena jumped. I have to make a call, she said. In the bathroom, she dialed Ricardo's number. They're threatening me, she whispered. My son, where are you? Ricardo asked. Home? 1242 Pine Street, apartment 3B. Stay there. I'm sending someone. Helena heard cars outside, footsteps in the hallway. Lucas, she called. Get your inhaler. We're going to... A knock at the door cut her off. Through the peephole, she saw Marcus. He smiled directly at her. Open up, Helena. Let's talk about keeping quiet. Mom? Lucas's voice shook. Who is it? Helena backed away from the door. Bathroom. Now. Lock the door. Marcus knocked again. Don't make this difficult, Helena. She grabbed her phone. Dialed 911. Police. What's your emergency? 1242 Pine Street, apartment 3B. There's a man. The door burst open. Marcus stepped in, phone in hand. Everything's fine, officer. Kids playing pranks. A voice crackled through his phone. Confirmed. Unit 47. False alarm. Helena's blood went cold. They had cops on their side. Where's the boy? Marcus asked. Leave him out of this. Single quotes. He walked to the kitchen table, picked up Lucas's medical school brochure. Big dreams. Shame if something happened to them. The bathroom door clicked open. Mom? Stay there, Helena shouted. Marcus smiled. Listen carefully. Tomorrow, you'll tell Ricardo you made a mistake. Stress, lack of sleep, whatever. Just make him believe it. And if I don't, he dropped Lucas's brochure in the trash. Cleaning jobs are dangerous. Accidents happen. And hospitals? So expensive these days. Helena's phone buzzed. Ricardo's number. Marcus grabbed it. Tell him you're fine. Just nerves. She took the phone. Hello? Helena? Police said everything's clear. Marcus watched her, hand resting on his hip where a gun bulged under his jacket. "Yes," she said. "I'm sorry. I got scared over nothing. You sure? We can send. Everything's fine." "Really? Good night." Marcus took her phone. "Smart choice. See you at work tomorrow." He left. Helena ran to the bathroom. Lucas sat in the corner, inhaler clutched to his chest. "Who was that?" he asked. She held him. "No one. Just work problems. Morning came too fast." Helena's hand shook as she changed into her uniform. The locker room door opened. 3 cleaning ladies walked in. "Heard you're causing trouble," one said. "Making up stories. Leave me alone. My cousin needs a job." "Thanks for creating an opening." At the security desk, a new guard sneered. "Special instructions about you. No more access to executive floors. But that's my assigned area. Not anymore." Basement and lobby only? The basement lights flickered. Helena mopped floors that never saw sunlight. Trash that never ended. Her supervisor appeared at lunch. "Complaints about your work. 3 strikes, you're out." "What complaints?" He handed her a list. Late arrivals. Misty spots. Damaged property. "But these aren't true." "One more strike," he said. Her phone buzzed. Text from Lucas. "Mom, chest hurts again. Used inhaler, but not helping. Go to the nurse." She replied. "Can't. We owe them money from last time." Helena leaned against the wall. The fluorescent lights hummed above. A janitor walked past. "Boss wants the supply room inventoried. Your job now." She spent hours counting mops. Cleaning products. Paper towels. Another text. "Mom, they're cutting my science program." Budget cuts. The program that helped kids get into medical school. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus. "Good girl. Keep counting those mops." The day shift arrived. Helena changed slowly, dreading home. In her locker, a note, "Quit now. Save yourself the trouble." The bus ride home felt longer. Lucas sat at the kitchen table, shoulders slumped. "They said I need better grades for the program anyway," he lied. Helena opened their bills. Hospital, rent, inhaler prescription. "Maybe I should forget medical school," Lucas said. "Get a job instead." "No." Helena grabbed his hands. "You're going to be a doctor." Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Tomorrow. Basement duty. Don't be late." The next day brought more complaints, more basement hours. More threats slipped into her locker. The night receptionist, Maria, caught her at lunch. "Something's wrong. Talk to me." "I can't. People are saying things." "That you're unstable. Having problems at home." Helena stared at her mop. "Don't get involved." Maria touched her arm. "I can help. Like you helped before? When I needed a witness about the camera angles?" "What?" "You were transferred right after." "Convenient." Maria stepped back. "I have kids too." "I'm sorry." The supervisor appeared. "Stop bothering other employees." Strike 2. Helena worked faster. Harder. The basement walls closed in. Her phone never stopped. Marcus's threats. Lucas's worries. Bills piling up. She saw Ricardo once through the lobby window. He looked right through her. The morning shift supervisor stopped her at the door. "Your performance review." "Things don't look good." She opened the envelope at home. Every category marked unsatisfactory. Lucas coughed in his sleep. The inhaler prescription needed refilling again. Her phone lit up. Marcus. "Friday's coming. Keep quiet, and this all goes away." She looked at Lucas, at his medical school brochures, at their empty kitchen. The phone buzzed again. One word to Ricardo, and cleaning jobs will be the least of your worries. Helena closed her eyes, remembered the Golden Plaza bodies. The choice was simple: her job or her conscience, her son or her soul. Friday was coming. The next morning, Maria's desk sat empty. A sign read, "Position transferred." Helena stared at the vacant chair. Her last ally gone. The new receptionist didn't look up. Basement's flooding. They need you down there. Water covered the basement floor. Helena waded through it, mop in hand. Careful, a janitor smirked. These floors get slippery. She worked alone. Water soaked her shoes, her uniform, her skin. The supervisor appeared. Sloppy work. Floors still wet. It's flooding. Excuses, he wrote in his notebook. Strike 2.5. Her phone buzzed. Lucas, they cut my hours at study hall. Said my records show behavioral issues. Helena's hands tightened on the mop. More of Marcus's work. The basement door opened. 2 men in suits walked through the water. Shame about your son's school records, one said. Teenage rebellion so common these days. The other laughed. Medical schools hate troubled kids. They passed her, shoes dry above the flood. At her locker, a new note waited. Crazy single mom. Can't handle the stress. The break room fell silent when she entered. People moved away. Heard she talks to herself, someone whispered. Mental health issues, another replied. Poor kid she has. Helena ate alone. Her sandwich tasted like cleaning products. The phone buzzed. Unknown number. Need more motivation to stay quiet? Ask your son about his college references. She called Lucas. No answer. The flood took hours to clean. Her fingers pruned. Her back ached. Finally, home. Lucas sat in the dark. School counselor says I need therapy, he said. That my records show signs of depression. Helena touched his face. What records? They won't show me. Said it's confidential. Her phone lit up. Marcus. Amazing what people put in school files these days. Lucas coughed. Hard. The inhaler was empty again. Mom? He wheezed. Are we in trouble? She held him. No, baby. Just politics at work. I heard you crying last night. Just tired. The window rattled. Helena jumped. Someone's watching our building, Lucas said. I see them when I leave for school. Her phone buzzed. Waved to our friends outside. Helena closed the blinds. Checked the locks again. Morning brought more water. More complaints, more whispers. Mentally unstable, they said. Unfit mother, they whispered. Danger to herself and others, they wrote. Her locker door hung open. Inside, her family photo lay torn. The supervisor waited by the time clock. HR needs to see you. The HR office smelled of paper and fear. Concerns about your behavior, the woman said. Emotional instability. Poor performance. None of that is true. We have documentation. She slid over a file. Multiple witnesses. Helena read the statements. All eyes. All signed. And this. The woman handed her a paper. Medical leave. Mandatory. I need this job. You need help. We've arranged a psychiatric evaluation. Helena's hands shook. My son's medicine. Insurance suspended during leave. Standard policy. The phone buzzed. Marcus, crazy people shouldn't work with chemicals. Outside, rain fell. Like the basement flood. Like her tears. Lucas called, Mom? I can't breathe, right? She ran home. Found him on the couch. Lips blue. The emergency room lights buzzed like basement fluorescents. His prescription lapsed, the doctor said. Insurance shows inactive. Single quotes. Helena emptied her purse. Not enough. Please, she whispered. Her phone lit up. Marcus, money's tight? We can help. Just keep quiet. The doctor returned with samples. This will help for now. At home, Lucas finally slept. His breathing shallow but steady. Helena checked the locks again and again. A rock crashed through the window. Note attached. Friday's coming. Tick-tock. She swept the glass. Covered the window with cardboard. Her phone never stopped. Crazy women lose custody. Accidents happen to problem employees. How's the air in your apartment? Lucas woke coughing. Mom, why is this happening? She held him, said nothing. The Golden Plaza ghost whispered, 3 dead. Your fault. The cardboard window rattled in the wind. Friday was tomorrow. Thursday night, Helena watched the clock tick past midnight. Friday had arrived. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Smart girl. Almost over now. Lucas slept on the couch, breathing ragged. The sample inhaler lay empty beside him. She opened her work locker one last time. The torn family photo, the threatening notes, the HR papers. The basement lights flickered. Water still pooled in corners. Special assignment, the supervisor said. Storage room inventory. All night, the storage room door locked behind her. No windows, no cameras. Her phone lit up. Marcus, stay there. Be a good girl. Through the door, she heard voices. Vault codes copied. Security loops set. Teams in position. Footsteps approached. Keys rattled. The door opened. 2 men entered. Keep counting supplies, one said. Like your life depends on it. The other dropped a phone on the shelf. When it rings, you answer. Say exactly what we tell you. They left. The lock clicked. Helena picked up the phone. Opened her own. Last text from Lucas. Love you, Mom. Sorry I'm sick. The Golden Plaza memories flooded back. Not just the bodies, the before, the choices. She'd stayed quiet then. Counted supplies. Been a good girl. 3 people died. The storage room phone rang. Answer it. A voice commanded through the door. Helena's hand shook. One choice. Again, her own phone lit up. A news alert. Golden Plaza robbery anniversary. Victims remembered. The storage room phone kept ringing. She thought of Lucas, his dreams, his breath. The other phone rang too. Her phone? Ricardo's number. She answered hers instead. Helena? Ricardo's voice was urgent. Where are you? Storage room. Basement. She whispered. They're here. Armed. Police are coming. Stay put. The storage room door burst open. Marcus stood there, gun raised. Wrong choice, he said. Helena dropped both phones. Raised her hands. Outside, Marcus commanded. Now, the basement hallway stretched dark. Water splashed under their feet. Move! The gun pressed against her back. They reached the service elevator. 3 more men waited. Duffel bags ready. She called him, Marcus said. One man checked his watch. Too late to stop now. Take her up. The elevator climbed, floor by floor, like a countdown. Helena's mind raced. Cameras, exits, angles. The doors opened on 40. Ricardo's office glowed at the end of the hall. Walk, Marcus ordered. Helena saw the past. The Golden Plaza hallway. The silence before. Not again. She stepped out, stumbled, fell. Water from her clothes spread across the floor. Marcus slipped, just slightly. Helena ran. The gun fired. Glass shattered. She reached the emergency exit, slammed through. Footsteps behind her. Shouts ahead. Stop her! She knew these stairs, these halls. 5 years of cleaning them. Another shot. Plaster exploded beside her. Helena pressed the security alarm. Then another. And another. Sirens wailed. She reached Ricardo's floor through a service door. He stood by his office, phone in hand. Helena? Run, she screamed. More shots, more glass breaking. They reached the conference room, locked the door. Police are coming, Ricardo said. They have cops too, Helena gasped. Like Golden Plaza, footsteps approached, multiple sets. Helena looked around, remembered the blueprints she'd seen them study. The vent, she whispered. It connects to 39. Ricardo hesitated. You sure? Another shot. The door lock splintered. Trust me, Helena said. I cleaned these rooms. They crawled through as the door gave way. Down one floor, through maintenance pads. Helena's uniform dripped, marked their trail. Here, she pushed open a panel. Executive elevator. They reached the lobby as police cars screamed up. Real police this time. Gunshots above, shouts, radios. Helena's phone buzzed through it all. Lucas. Mom? Where are you? She couldn't answer. Not yet. SWAT teams swarmed up. Evacuated down. Helena watched the news unfold on lobby screens. Attempted robbery, police corruption exposed, Golden Plaza connection. Her phone kept buzzing. Mom, please. Can't breathe right need. You morning king. Police lights still flashed. Ricardo found her in the lobby. You saved more than money tonight, he said. Helena looked at her phone. 20 messages from Lucas. I have to go, she said. Wait. Ricardo grabbed her arm. We need to talk. But Lucas needed her more. She ran for the bus, for home, for the choice she'd finally made right. Behind her, the building gleamed. Ahead, her son waited. Between them, a new day dawned. And her phone finally fell silent. Helena burst into her apartment. Lucas lay on the couch, breathing hard. Mom? His voice cracked. The news. That's your building? She grabbed him, held tight. We're leaving. Now. Where? Anywhere. Act quick. Her phone buzzed. Ricardo. Don't run. We have safe places. Another text. Unknown number. Run all you want. We'll find you. Lucas stuffed clothes in a backpack. Mom, what's happening? Police sirens wailed outside. Getting closer. Helena grabbed their documents. Money. Medicine. Pounding on the door. Mrs. Santos? Official voice. Police. She froze. Friend or enemy? Her phone lit up. Ricardo. They're real police. Let them in. She opened the door. 2 uniforms. Badges gleaming. You need to come with us, one said. Both of you. Protection detail. Lucas grabbed his inhaler. Mom? It's okay. She hoped. They rode in silence. Police car. Lights off. Back streets. The safe house sat anonymous. Brick walls. Steel door. Inside, Ricardo waited. They're processing arrests now, he said. 15 so far, including 3 officers. Helena held Lucas close. Marcus? Still searching. He's wounded though. Your water trick worked. Lucas wheezed. You stopped them? Like Golden Plaza? This time, Helena said. This time I did. Hours passed. Police came and went. News updates flickered. Major heist foiled. Police corruption ring exposed. Golden Plaza connection confirmed. Ricardo worked his phone. Non-stop calls. The merger's delayed, he told Helena. But saved, thanks to you. Lucas slept fitfully. Each breath, a battle. Helena watched the door, the windows, the shadows. Her phone stayed silent. Too silent. Past midnight, movement outside. Police radios crackled. Suspect spotted. East perimeter. Gunshots split the night. Lucas jerked awake. Mom. Helena pulled him down. Behind the couch. More shots. Breaking glass. Ricardo reached him. Panic room. Basement. Go. They ran, steps creaking. Marcus's voice followed. Hide all you want, Helena. The panic room door sealed. Thick steel. Screens showed outside. Marcus bleeding, cornered. Last chance, Helena, he screamed. Think of your boy. Lucas pressed his inhaler. Nothing left. I can't breathe, he whispered. Helena held him, like when he was small. Above, chaos erupted. SWAT teams breached. Marcus fired back. Glass shattered. Bodies moved. The screens showed it all. Ricardo made calls. Medical teams standing by. Air support above. All exits covered. Lucas wheezed harder. Helena's phone buzzed. Unknown number. A video Golden Plaza security footage. The robbery, the deaths, her silence. Message below. Your fault then. Your fault now. Footsteps on basement stairs. Lucas clutched her arm. Mom, please. The panic room felt smaller, walls closer, air thinner, time slower. Ricardo watched the screens. They've got him cornered. More shots above, then silence. Helena's phone buzzed one last time. Marcus, see you in hell. A final shot echoed. Then real silence. The panic room door opened. SWAT team swept in. Clear. Suspect down. Scene secure. Paramedics followed. They worked on Lucas, oxygen mask. New inhaler. Steady hands. Helena watched them save her son. Like she'd saved the building. Like she hadn't saved Golden Plaza. Morning light crept in. Ricardo touched her shoulder. It's over, he said. But Helena knew better. Some things never end. They just change shape, like fear into courage. Silence into truth. Night into day. The hospital lights buzzed overhead. Lucas slept, oxygen mask fogging with each breath. Helena hadn't left his side in 24 hours. Her phone lay silent. Dead battery. Like Marcus. The door opened. Ricardo stepped in, suit wrinkled. Thought you'd want to know, he said. Final count. 23 arrests. The cops? 7 of them, all facing charges. Lucas stirred. The mask clouded faster. The doctors say he'll be fine, Ricardo said. Less care. Companies covering it. Single quotes. Helena touched her son's hand. They used him to get to me. They used everyone. Golden Plaza, too. A nurse entered. Checked machines. Numbers. Tubes. His breathing stronger, she said. Good signs. When she left, Ricardo sat down. There's something else, he said. About Golden Plaza. Helena tensed. What? Marcus talked. Before he died. Ricardo paused. They knew you saw them then. Planned to kill you after. But they didn't. The robbery went wrong first. They blamed you anyway. Lucas coughed in his sleep. Helena adjusted his mask. All these years, she whispered. I thought my silence killed those people. They were dead either way. Your silence saved you. Saved him. The door opened again. 2 detectives entered. Mrs. Santos? We need your statement. Hours of questions. Details. Times. Names. Her throat went dry. Lucas kept sleeping. The detectives left. Ricardo stayed. The board met today, he said. About the merger. Is it canceled? No. Delayed. But there's more. He shifted. They discussed you. Helena looked away. I need to focus on Lucas. Helena. Ricardo touched her arm. Listen. A doctor interrupted. More tests. More questions. Lucas woke briefly. Smiled weak. You stopped them, Mom, he whispered. Like a hero. She held his hand until he slept again. Ricardo waited outside. The job's still yours, he said. If you want it. Cleaning basements? No. Something else. He handed her papers. Read it later. The hospital day passed. Shift change. New nurses. Helena read the papers. Supervisor position. Security team liaison. Real salary. Her phone charged enough to work. Messages flooded in. Hero cleaner saves millions. Golden Plaza survivor stops history repeat. Corruption ring exposed by janitor. Lucas improved. Color returned. Breathing steadied. The police came back. More questions. Golden Plaza families want to talk, they said. When you're ready. Helena wasn't ready. Not yet. Night fell. Ricardo brought food. Board wants an answer, he said. About? The job. Benefits start immediately. He gestured at Lucas. Including health insurance. Helena watched her son breathe. Why me? Because you saw what we didn't. Both times. The night nurse brought Lucas's medicine. Insurance approved everything, she said. Full coverage. Helena held the papers. The choice. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She tensed, but it was different now. Thank you for saving my husband. Golden Plaza widow. You did what I couldn't. Former guard. My kids have a father because of you. Bank employee Lucas woke again. Stronger. The doctor said I can go home tomorrow, he said. We need a new home, Helena said. Safer. Ricardo cleared his throat. About that, more papers. Company housing, security building. Mom? Lucas removed his mask. Are we okay now? Helena looked at the papers. The messages, the choices. Better than okay, she said. Ricardo stood to leave. Meeting tomorrow. 10 a.m. I'll be there. He paused at the door. They were wrong, you know? Who? Marcus. The others. He smiled. Cleaning ladies aren't easy to replace. Lucas sat up. Actually sat up. Mom? He pointed at the papers. What are those? Helena told him. Everything. His eyes widened. No more basement? No more basement. No more empty inhalers? Never again. The night settled soft around them. Her phone buzzed one last time. Ricardo, welcome to the 40th floor. Helena held her son. Different tears fell now, clean ones. Monday morning. The lobby gleamed different now. Helena wore a suit, simple, blue, new. The security guard stood. Good morning, Mrs. Santos. No grunt. No glare. Times change. The elevator opened right to 40. No basement stops. Her new office overlooked the city. Small, but hers. Security briefing in 10, her assistant said. Real assistant. Lucas's text arrived. First day of school. New inhaler works great. The briefing room filled. Guards, managers, suits. Helena took her seat. Head of Building Operations Security. Mrs. Santos will review protocols, Ricardo announced. She stood. No cleaning cart now. Just confidence. First rule, she said. Listen to the cleaning staff. Laughter. But respectful. Her phone buzzed. Golden Plaza widow. Having dinner tonight. Please come. The meeting ended. Work began. Helena walked the floors. Different view. Cleaning staff nodded. Smiled. New. Mrs. Santos? A young janitor approached. Something feels wrong. She stopped. Listened. Really listened. The day flowed. Reports. Meetings. Changes. Lucas called at lunch. Mom, got an A in biology. Dr. Lucas, she smiled. Getting closer. Their new apartment waited above the city. Safe. Bright. Ricardo passed her office. Board meeting tomorrow. Merger's back on. Security's tight, she said. Really tight. I know. He smiled. That's why we sleep better. Evening came. Golden Plaza families gathered. They hugged her. Cried. Thanked her. We understood, they said. Even then, Helena drove home. New car. Company car. Lucas sat doing homework. Breathing easy. Mom? He looked up. Are you happy? She touched his face. More than that. The city lights sparked below. Her phone buzzed. Messages different now. Security update complete, teams in position, all clear. The basement was someone else's job. But she checked anyway. Old habits. The new guard watched cameras. Alert. Awake. All good, Mrs. Santos? All good. She signed reports. Approved changes. The cleaning staff had panic buttons now. Direct line. Lucas waited up. Can I see your office? Tomorrow. She'd show him tomorrow. The view, the title, the dream. Her phone's last buzz. Good night, boss. She checked the locks. Still checked, but safer now. everything safer. The night settled quiet. No ghosts, no guilt, just peace. Lucas breathed easy in his sleep. Helena watched the city lights. Different lights now, brighter. Like hope, like change, like truth. The end clicked soft. Like a door closing right. Like a new day opening. Clean, clear, free. If you enjoyed this story, we'd love for you to support us by leaving a like and subscribing to our Slices of Life channel. We'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which city are you talking about? It's very rewarding for us to provide our followers with an enjoyable moment. We appreciate the unconditional support you show us in every story. Blessings!